Hello, Bradden.
Hey, Brendan,
How
what's
are you?
up?
Just chilling in our podcast Zoom.
Nice, nice. With you there right now.
It's like I just seen you like a little bit ago.
I know, yeah, back to back, we're killing it.
Yeah, just keep going up. And today we are the Christian Music Bros podcast. We're not the D&B podcast anymore. So thank you for tuning in to the Christian Music Bros podcast. Again, I'm Brendan. This is Bradden. And today we are here with a very special guest, and we'll let them introduce themselves right now.
Hi, I'm Magdalene Rose, but everybody calls me Maggie because it's a lot easier.
I'm gonna call you Maggie just to make, make things
It's a
easier.
lot, it rolls off the tongue a lot better.
Um, Thank you for joining us today, and we'll get started right now. We usually start with the same generic question, but I just like to hear everyone's music background. If you want to just tell us a little bit about your music background, how you got started in music and everything.
Yeah, so I've actually been playing music since I was about 5 years old, and my parents wanted me and my two sisters to be just well-rounded individuals, and so they had us go and take music lessons when we were five, and they always told us like, if you hate this, you can quit it. Like just
Mhm.
try it. It's just an extra skill you can have. It's a conversation starter, and so I started playing piano when I was five, and my sisters ended up choosing different instruments as years went on. And so then I started playing bass when I was 8 years old. And we started our own little band called GFM. It stood for Gold, Frankincense, and Myrrh. And that kind of snowballed for a while and um, really picked up momentum as the years went on. And Seventh Day Slumber took us on our very first tour in 2017. And we just kept kind of touring from there and played shows with bands like Fozzy, Chris Jericho's rock band, and did a lot of tours with Seventh Day Slumber, did a lot of festival runs and stuff. And um, it was just this big family affair. And we had done it since I think I was 11 is when we were
Mhm.
starting to play shows. And so in 2022, we felt like God was calling us in different directions. And so we kind of put a hold on GFM, and all both of my sisters are trying to figure out where God is calling them to be. My older sister is still in music. My little sister is more into the streaming side of things. But I still feel like God was calling me to do music and to be in the Christian rock area. And so whenever we were like figuring all of that out, I had no idea what to do because I had never done anything without my sisters and without my family. And I was like, God is calling me to take this massive leap of faith. And like, I don't even know what direction to jump in though. So I called the lead singer of Seven Day Slumber, Joseph Rojas, and I was like, hey, I need some help. Like, I got no clue what I'm doing right now. And I was actually engaged to his son at the time, and so they opened their home to me to come up and try and like brainstorm just ideas of how I could still be involved with music. And the idea of being a solo artist was very scary to me. It's something I never ever wanted to do. And but I felt like that was where God needed me at the time. And so last year in 2023 is when we first started this whole Magdalene Rose solo artist thing. And it's still there's still a lot of learning that I'm doing, trying to figure out how to be myself as an individual instead of I'm a band member type thing. And so it's still very similar music. I've always kind of been in the Christian rock area of music, but it's definitely kind of taken a life of its own now and just lots of different changes, but just trying to follow where God wants me to be.
And it's really cool to meet you. And like, side note, this is a side note. I know we're talking about you, but we know one of your sisters personal, like not like really well personally, but she like follows our journey, and she was actually in our music, Finding Hope in the Darkness special. We made one of your sister was a part of it.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome.
So sorry, that was just a side note. So if for those who are listening, if you watch our special, Maggie's sister is with CJ, who was at the end of our special. So this is just the tie. Sorry, I'm just trying to tie like 2 points together for our podcast for
Yeah,
returning
that's
and everything.
awesome.
So, Braden, do you have anything you want to add off of that, by the way?
Yeah, so I love that you're still doing music. Been following you guys since I think it was a festival years ago in the middle of nowhere. You guys were the only heavy band in the middle of contemporary artists.
Oh
And
my
I
goodness.
I remember that night, still loved it. Several of my friends there still talk about it. And it's been so cool to see how far you've come. and you just released an EP recently, the Prelude EP, with songs like Shark Spray, which love the title by the way, and so many other awesome ones. What's the story of that EP, and what's it leading up to as a prelude?
Yeah, so it was kind of just me discovering who I was as my own person because for a long time, all I did was GFM and my identity was kind of tied to that. And I didn't really know who I was outside of that. And I didn't really do anything outside of that. So I didn't, there was no way for me to know who I was without that. And um, so it was just kind of my journey of figuring out like who I am, what messaging I want to promote, what kind of topics I want to talk about, and um, having like a voice that's only my own, and I don't have to kind of like discuss with other people like, oh, should we write a song about this? Should we write a song about this? Was very scary, but it's kind of freeing in a way because I am able to talk about, topics that personally I feel strongly about, I feel passionately about, things that I've personally struggled with that like the other band members may not have struggled with. I can still write songs about them now because it is my story. Um and there was a lot of growth and kind of just self-reflection that was happening in that time period where we were writing the first EP. And so it's kind of just a prelude of an album that is coming out pretty soon. And we're really excited about that. We're still trying to figure out release dates, but we are very quickly starting to get the ball rolling on releases. So trying to make sure everyone's excited because we've been talking about the album for a long time, but it's now starting to finally move. So that's really, really cool. But the album kind of goes further in depth of just my personal stories, stuff that people really close to me have struggled with, and they felt like nobody wanted to talk about that, not just in the Christian scene, but just in the music scene in general, because they're icky subjects. And so they wanted people to be there for them, and they didn't have people there for them. And so if there's somebody struggling with a similar thing in the audience or in my listeners, I want them to know like, hey, you're not alone. There's people that have gone through something that you've gone through, or there's people that are willing to go beside you and figure it out with you, even if they have no idea what you're going through. And so it's kind of just a prelude of like, hey, you're about to get to know me on a real vulnerable level.
That's pretty cool.
So
And for those who are listening or watching this, listening to this, whatever you're doing, streaming it or whatever, make sure to check out Maggie's EP. It's on Spotify and all those audio platforms. There's like 5 songs, and it's really worth the listen. You said you've been working with a lot with Seventh Day Slumber. How has it been like being on the road with them and like following in their footsteps and everything?
It's really been a blessing because I have only toured with a family before, and it was very scary to be like, oh, well, what if when I'm on tour, like it's not anybody I know? Like I don't know how to tour with strangers. And so I was just very quickly thrown into another family, and was people that I knew already. And it was just a comforting feeling. And sometimes they can be a little rough around the edges, and like it kind of just comes with the territory of being in a rock scene. We tend to get a lot of people who have come from hurt, and so they were able to meet me in my hurt as well, and they understood it, and they were able to come to bat for me and help me find out how to stand up for myself in different areas. And it really is one big family. And I'm married into the Seventh Day Slumber family now, but even people who aren't blood related who are on tour with us, it's their family. And I can count on them for anything. And so they've taught me so much with touring and with how to release music and how to present yourself online, and just how to like make a stand for yourself and really promote God, and how to do things in a God honoring way, and how to really listen to God's voice and not get so caught up in your own head that you start to drown that out.
Definitely. And we love to hear that. We love how you're like they're helping you, you're helping them, and just like the big relationship like that. Bradden, do you have anything you want to go with?
Yeah, so you mentioned it briefly about, all the stuff they're helping you grow in and rock community. I love that. It's just an awesome family that really helps support each other in so many ways. And one thing that I'm seeing a rock community, including yourself, jump into is social media, using reels and YouTube videos and vlogs. And you're probably one of the first ones that come to mind that do that and jump into that, engaging with fans. What's it been like posting, on all the socials, different ways, communicating with fans, getting your music out there? What's that been like?
It's definitely very hectic because there's so many different avenues that I have to like post on and stuff. And so I'm learning how to do YouTube videos in a different way. I was very burnt out on them for a long time because I was trying to do a similar format and to like previous stuff,
Mhm.
and it still wasn't me at that point. And so I'm learning how to put myself out there now online and just doing different types of stuff, asking people at shows like, hey, what do you want to see on YouTube? And like doing videos that they've asked me to do. And I feel like it's just helped me grow closer to the people that follow me online. I really like posting dumb, funny videos and like sarcastic ones, like just that make fun of myself or make fun of rock in general, because it really is just a group of people that want to have fun and want to be this family thing. And if you're not laughing at yourself, like you're taking yourself too seriously at that point. Like I just
Right.
want to make people laugh.
Too seriously, but you might want to hit that okay button at the top right over your
Okay,
head. So
there we go. Uh, so yeah, it's just a lot of jokes. I love interacting with people that way, and just making people feel seen and heard.
Mhm.
And I feel like when you think of these bands that you love a lot or these artists that you love a lot of times it's like, oh, well, they'll never see my comment. Like, I'll never be able to talk to them. And it's my goal to be able to answer every single person and at least one time let them see, like, oh, these people know who I am. Oh, they heard from me. Oh, I have a voice. And even if it's just a one-time interaction that I have with them, it's a hope of mine that they are able to understand that they are special. They do have a voice, and they deserve to have a space where they can be heard. And it really is just kind of growing together. A lot of the listeners that I have grew up with me. And so now we're all just kind of trying to figure out life at the same time. And so I think we can kind of relate to that in a way as well. And so it's not just music stuff, it's also just, hey, I just got a credit card. Y'all need to help me figure this out. Like,
That's
The
so
credit
cool.
card bots, it just goes for concert tickets. We're always on my end. Um, we just have a few extra more minutes with you. We're not going to take your whole day and everything. We like to give our guests the floor to speak about anything they want to talk about, or it can be a message, it can be a story, it can be whatever you want to talk about. So we're going to give you the floor.
yeah, so like I said earlier, we are getting really close to start releasing things, and the album is done, and so we're starting to get the ball rolling on all of that. And so there's a lot of cool stuff that is heading people's way. We've already interacted and sent stuff out to like my Patreon members, and they get stuff early. And so the whole goal is to have this big community event where everybody is somehow involved in the release, and so they feel like they're part of it. And it really has been the people online that have helped me continue to go and have the motivation to do this. And so I want them to feel like they were a part of this project, because they really were. And so we're really excited to start rolling out singles and artwork and just all kinds of new music. We've been playing a few songs live that are unreleased. And so that's been really fun, where people can hear them. And that's the only way they can hear them is at a show. Like, they can't go look it up afterwards. And that's been really fun to just kind of just surprise people with that, because we played them for the first time at a festival and people were like, what is going on? Like, I don't know this song. I'm like, it's a brand new one. And they're like, oh my goodness. And so
Right.
it's really cool to just kind of see that excitement building. And everything that we do is posted online. Like, my whole life I am chronically online. Like, it's a little bit of a detriment, but there's a big amount of brain rot in my head. But it's everything is online, and I love interacting with people, and all my pages are the same, so it's super easy to find. It's official Magdalene Rose on literally everything. But I do release music and do music in order to help people. You know, I want to be that voice of reason, but also a shoulder to cry on, and just somebody to talk to if people don't have, if they feel like they don't have a friend in their life. I want to be that friend. And so I really hope the new music relates to people and helps people, but also, you know, I hope that I'm able to do that too. You know, I'm constantly on social media for that reason, so I can have conversations with people, especially if people are too afraid to talk in person. I know that can be really intimidating sometimes. And so I always leave my messenger open so people can have some sort of way to contact me.
Thank you for sharing that. And yeah, everyone, if you need to reach out to Maggie, she's a great person. I think Bradden can second what I'm saying right here.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And make sure to follow Maggie's journey. Check out her EP. It's really cool, really heavy. So if you're looking for something new to listen, we definitely recommend it. Maggie, thank you for joining us today. We appreciate you joining us and having your time.
Thank you for having me.
And to everyone who's listening to this podcast, we'll see you next time on the Christian Music Bros podcast.